So another story for today. So I just want to talk about what worked for Akintade after we found out that he was autistic. So the first thing I did, I looked into diet. I mean, this is after the diagnosis and everything. I did allergy test, and then we found out that he was allergic to gluten and casein. So that's milk and bread and all that. So with white flour. So what I did, I started looking for ways of making his food without gluten. I went on gluten-free diet for him, which means we were taking gluten-free oats, gluten-free bread, gluten-free cakes, and sometimes I bake his cake. So I was giving him rice milk as well instead of the normal milk. And immediately we started doing that, we realized I was very calm. He started sleeping through the night and everything became easier. I was sitting down. And then I did a lot of research. I had a good pediatrician that told me about ABA anyway and introduced me to another parent that was doing ABA. So I did a lot of research on that and what could work for him. We started the play therapist, the speech therapy, and the play therapy. So we had a play therapist that used to come, and we started doing the ABA, which is applied behavioral analysis. I think they call it PBT now, positive behavioral therapy now. So it was founded on Lovers program. So Lovers was the first therapy they started using in the 1940s or something, when they found out about autism, when the autism syndrome became something that was labeled as autism, I mean the disability. And Lovers was a way of treating autistic children, and then accumulated into ABA, and now it's PBT. So we started ABA at that time. We had consultants and then therapist consultants. We trained therapists, and we had people coming in and out of the house. And I know that first of all, economically, that wouldn't have been feasible for us. We're a young couple in our 20s at that time, and it would have been too much for us to bear. So what we did, we started finding out which school can do, where you can go to school and do ABA program. There was nothing like that. It was supposed to go to a special school, local special school in Barnet, and eventually I found out about Treehouse. Treehouse had just started. That was in the city in Russell Square at that time. So, well, there's something we had to do for Tade to be able to get into Treehouse. Tade will have to name the school in his statement of education needs, because every child, if you're not performing as your peers, or if you have any delay in anything and they assess you, you will have to have statement of education needs so they can make provision for your education. It's irrespective of your parents' earning. So it doesn't have to do with anything you're earning. The government, they're so good at supporting people with disability in this country that he started the treehouse, but we had to fight for him to be able to go to Treehouse because they weren't going to sponsor an expensive school like that. So I had to do a lot of fighting. We're about to go to tribunal. That was year 2000. And God did it in such a way that within 1 week they agreed, and he started Treehouse. And then we had to wake up very early to take him, because Treehouse was in the city and we live in Barnet. So for them to drive through, he had to wake up early. Well, I mean, it was one-to-one tutor, one-to-one for every child at Treehouse, and there's so many powerful parents that came together to form Treehouse. And he and his friends, they used to go from Barney. Two of them were lucky to get into Treehouse. That was how he started Treehouse. So he was at Treehouse from year 2000 to 2016 till he was 19. No, actually, yeah, till he was 19. So 19, 2016, 15. So another fight. It's just that every year we had to fight. We had to do a lot to make sure that they can justify what they're spending, and to make sure that they can still pay for that school, because it's irrespective of your income. Even though, I mean, we're working and everything, but we don't need to. But the only thing I always tell parents, don't leave your children to just the school alone. You need to be able to provide extra therapy so when they get home, and then the diet as well. So at that point in time, we had it's vitamins from an autism specific clinic in US, and that used to cost about $400 every month. And then we had this therapy that comes in. We had the VBT, verbal behavioral therapist. We had the play therapist. So it's very, and then the special food, because Sainsbury's was the only supermarket carrying gluten-free range at that time, and it was quite expensive at that time. But all along, in everything, I have every cause to be grateful, because obviously, even though I was raising a child, especially, I still had to. God helped me in a way that I could maintain my career, which I know is not easy for most parents. And I had helps, and then my sisters were very nearby at that point to help me. And but it wasn't easy, but God saw. So this is why I always, you find out in all my posts, I always say God is working, and He's really working in my son's life, working in our life, and we continue to do so. So that's the story for tonight. Thank you for following. If you're inspired by this story, or if you have anyone that needs to listen to this, please like. And if you want to support what we do, please share, like, and you can go to tadestore.com to wear Tade hoodie on his birthday on Tuesday. God bless you. Thank you.